everybody, welcome to my channel. So I am back with my second video of the 2 boxes that I get directly from the Czech Republic. The company is called Craftica, and I've already done the first video and it was just so beautiful. It was such a beautiful winter sampler this month, and I'll put a link in the description box for that video in case you missed it. It was really fun. But this one is a different box. It's the second box that they do. It's called Bohem style. It's this beautiful little gift with a window that you peek inside, and I've already taken all the contents out. And so this is a DIY jewelry kit. So every month you get this little insert with a personal video code that takes you to a full tutorial step by step on how to make 2 pieces of jewelry. So there's a little hitch this month. Normally the thumbnail picture is here, but it looks like they had a little printing issue because it's only printed their box logo again. And I've been on the website a couple of times, but I'm a little bit too early in filming to see what the projects were this month. But it is 2 pieces. It's usually multi-strand. They're very sweet. They're lovely projects, and everything that you need is here to create 2 full pieces of jewelry. They are lovely. They are wearable, and I can't speak highly enough of them, even though I can't see what it is this month. And so in the kit, you get like all the little packets, all separated. This month there were crimp covers, oval jump rings, looks like number 2 crimp tubes, some other jump rings, bead caps, like all the findings that you need, extender chain. And in this month's box there were several different chains in the set, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It has a Parisian theme. There's a little Eiffel Tower pendant, little charm in the box. It's beautiful. It's so detailed. And then there's a little crown charm and a little airplane and a couple of little stars and crowns that say princess. And there were 2 of these connector bars with 5 loops across the bottom. And I'm going to do a project with this. Now, just to tell newer people, if you're brand new to jewelry, this is so great for you because the directions are there, the supplies are there, and it's very gratifying. You'll have 2 pieces of jewelry. But if you're like me and you've been making jewelry forever and you like to just have high quality Czech glass beads and findings directly from the Czech Republic, and you just like to do your own thing, you're going to love this box too. So that's generally me. In fact, I've never done the projects that the code takes you to the video tutorial because I love the beads and I love doing my own thing. So I'm just going to go around. Like, there was this beautiful assortment of Czech glass pearls in this gorgeous matte finish, one really beautiful hot pink, a few different millimeter sizes. There were some metallic silver 4mm Czech glass rounds, some silver drucks, some pearl, matte pearl wavy Czech glass discs. I love those. There were some 6mm crystal Czech glass faceted rounds with an inner core that's white. You can see it's color inside. And then I love these silver and crystal Czech glass wavy discs. Aren't they just lovely? I love stacking those. And then we have some little tiny Czech glass stars in silver, some little 3mm drucks, and some even smaller little crystal and silver Czech glass disc beads, little disc spacers. And then I just put everything here. Let me just get them out and put them in my hand. This beautiful crystal and silver melon bead, and several of these acid etched silver, like this is a large teardrop, this is a little smaller teardrop, this one is egg shaped or barrel shaped, and then there is a crackle glass crystal clear teardrop, and there were a couple of these Czech glass creamy white pearls. I've used one to start off my project. And as I said, there are 3 different bead caps in the box, some beautiful pinch beads in crystal and silver. And what else? Oh, more Czech glass faceted rounds. These are half crystal, half white, and some tiny little crystal rondelles. beautiful. They're faceted. I know that because they're crystal, it's difficult to see them in the camera, but they are just so pretty and they add a sparkle. So I had already started, I'll show you these drucks as well, but the pinch beads are in my first little strand that I'm doing. And just so you can see like how beautiful it is to stack these Czech glass beads. And it's so fun too to just sit and create little bead patterns. So I did one of the silver tiny 3mm spacers, this little crystal rondelle. I lost the word for rondelle. Oh my goodness, I'm excited. I want to get started on my project. And just the bead cap topper, and I brought in some ball head pins from my stash. And so that is my first funny little strand. You're probably wondering what in the world is one little strand going to turn into, but I'm going to use these beautiful metallic hot pink 11-0 seed beads as I did here, just to start off. So I'm going to dot my project with this beautiful pink color. And in this dish, there were two rondelles. This one is a white with a silver wash, and this one is a pearly white. So, and like, I put this on a white dish, and I'm looking at the camera lens, and I'm like, can you even see that they're in there? But they are. And then over here, there were some beautiful gray crackle glass round beads and this beautiful metallic druck. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to kind of play in the beads and charms, and I'm going to make a pendant that has some fringy bits hanging from the bottom. This is going to be so much fun to make and so much fun to wear, and I just love to sit and play when you get a collection of Czech glass beads like this. It's so fun to create patterns and like come up with different shapes by stacking the beads. So that's what I'm intending to do. So to start off with, I am going to take this Czech glass pearl. That's going to be the center of my topper to my pendant. And then I have a piece of 22 gauge German style wire here. And I'm going to put some of these seed beads out on my mat, and I'm also going to be working with some of these silver rondelles. And so what I'm going to do is almost make like a fantasy flower. I'm going to start with two rondelles on my wire, and that's going to be the middle of this circle. No seed bead in between. I'm going to leave that blank. And then I'm going to fill this up with a seed bead, a rondelle, a seed bead, a rondelle, and do the same thing on this side, a seed bead, a rondelle, until I have enough to perfectly frame this silver Czech glass pearl. So just be a second for you. Let me string. Okay, so it's ended up being 6 rondelles on each side of my wire, separated by those seed beads. And I'm just going to pull until I have this in a pretty nice round circle. And so I just kind of hold it between my thumb and my forefinger and just kind of get in there and get it nice and round. And so if you notice, let me get it nice and round, and then I'll show you a little bit better look of how I strung this pattern and why. Okay, so that's pretty good. So what I'm doing is leaving no seed bead in between my bottom 2 rondelles and no seed bead in between my top, because that's going to make the connector part of this little component. So I'm going to come in with my chain nose pliers and just get these. You can either like do it this way where you pull one down. You're aiming toward your bottom 2 rondelles with that, and you can do this. It's 22 gauge wire, so it's pretty easy to work with, but I like to once I've done that, I want to get at least one wrap in just to make sure this is secure, because it's the top of a pendant. So I'm just going to get one wrap around my upward part here and come back around here, and then I'm going to take my pliers and give this a nice bend aiming it right toward the center of my circle. Just like that, so it stays nice and neat. I'm going to get this nice and smooth and straight, and this nice and smooth and straight, and then I'm going to pop on my pearl and just let it pop right in the middle of that ring. So it's kind of like a fantasy flower. And then on this end, I'm going to use that blank space where I did not put a seed bead to wrap. And without kinking my wire, I'm going to get it directioned back up through and just try to not kink the wire. Just like that, and just coax it around and around and get it back so that I can pull tight. If you hold your thumb and forefinger over your work, you usually have an easy time of getting that little tug in there. And so now I just want to straighten the wire. I had to bend it to get it back around. So I just want to go back to having a nice straight piece of wire on both sides. And so my little component is basically made, but I'm going to take this this bottom, I'm going to designate this the bottom, and I'm going to make a wire wrapped loop here that can go onto this connector bar. And this wire is going to be my bail for my pendant. So it could string on like some cool stainless steel ball chain or some pink leather cord or a silver chain, you know, like a stainless steel chain. Like you could really have fun with this pendant when I'm all done with it. So let's do the bail first. So I'm going to come right here and I'm sorry, I have to go this way. I want my bail to be going that way so that my stringing material will go through this way, and then my piece is facing forward all the time. So I'm going to bend in that direction, and then I'm going to take my bail making pliers because I do want to put a little bit of a large loop here. So I'm going to use the second to the largest step on my bail making pliers, and that way whatever chain I've decided to put this on, it should fit. So I'm going to place my flower in there so that I'm wrapping over the bail that I want, and then of course I can't wrap any further, so I'm going to rotate my plier, and then I'm going to bring this wire around and just center everything, get it nice and centered on my component. And then I think that I will be able to do another wrap. So I'm going to reposition. I'm just going to like reposition, and I'm going to wrap double here just because I'm using 22 gauge wire. So I'm just going to snuggle that wire back into place and come back around for a second time. So I'll hold it this way so you can see. And then from there, when I take it away, I have a double loop. And now I'll just take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to that and just wrap right down to my beads. And sometimes when I'm using finer wire, I will wrap down and then back up again if I feel, actually that's quite pretty though. And from here, like I can even make this the front because I'm seeing less of my wire. But the other option, like I love to play with wire. So when I'm doing a design like this, I'm thinking, well, if I came here, I could put use this scrap of wire to create a spiral. So maybe I'll come back around to the front like that, and I'll straighten up my bail as soon as I'm done tugging on it. But that, I think I'll do that. I have just the right amount of scrap wire here, so you could snip it away, but I always like to take the opportunity to add a little something. So I'm going to come, let's see which direction. I'll go this way and just make a nice neat spiral with a really tight center. So I'm staying on the tip of my really small round nose pliers, and I'm just going to very gently just put push this against my finger down toward my beads. Just a little extra embellishment. You know, if you don't like the look of it, definitely just trim it away and tuck it. But I love like spiraling wire, and I love the way that it looks on the beads. Then I'm just going to bend it down, snuggle it into place, kind of snuggle it in between, and then I'm going to just really gently tidy up my little bail here because I pulled on it to do the wrapping. Okay, so I'm ready to put a loop on this end of my pendant. So I'm going to go in the same direction. I'm going to get a hold of my pendant, give it a 90-degree bend, bring in my round nose pliers, and start my wire wrapped loop. But before I wrap this closed, I'm going to attach it to my finding here. And a lot of times I like to use jump rings for this, but I really want this embellishment to sit rather close to the top of my finding here. Whoops, wrong direction. Go this way. Everything facing forward. So I just made a little space and slipped that in, and now I'm going to come back here and close that loop and wrap it closed. So I'm just going to get a hold of it and just get those wraps in there. A little bit in my way. Just, you can do messy wraps here if you like. I tend to do really neat wraps, one coil right beneath the previous one. And I'm going to get all the way up to my beads. Okay, my pendant is well on its way. And so now I am going to play in the beads. I am going to make some little fringy bits, and I put a jump ring. I'm going to snip the chain. I'm going to have some chains mixed in with my fringe, and so what I'm going to do is put 2 per loop. So all in all, I will have 10 little dangly fringy bits. And I think, let me see if 2 jump rings will fit through one of these holes, or if I need to put 2 strands on a jump ring. And I think it's going to hang better if I do 2 strands on a single jump ring. So I have my chain on here, and I'm going to add my fringe, and then I'll show you how I did the fringe. It's super easy. It's just fun stringing. And so in this month's box, they gave us number 2 crimp tubes. Normally, the Craftica company puts flat crimp, or crimp beads that you flat crimp in the box, which is really beginner friendly because they're the easiest method of crimping. So what I did is I pulled out some of those from my stash because I'm going to be flat crimping everything in my project. So I'll put a few of these here. Also from my stash, I have some ball head pins. That's what I did this little dangle on. I love ball head pins. And then I just finished reviewing the other Craftica box, which is called Czech Beads Exclusive. And we had a little assortment of crystal rondelle spacers, which I didn't use in my other projects. So I'm going to put those out here to add a little sparkle. And all I'm doing is taking a little piece of the bead stringing wire that was in the box. So just about that length, and leaving myself enough space to make a loop. And so this came in the box. It's a nice, fine, very strong bead stringing wire. And I'm just going to pick up a crimp bead and make a loop back down through that crimp bead. And I'm going to try to match it to my other loops. So just feed it down. a little bend on the end of this. Might have to trim that. So just a pretty small loop with the wire, and that's about the same as what I did before. I'll snuggle it up a little bit. And then for a crimp bead, you just flatten it. So I'm just going to put my plier over it and just flatten it. Focus, camera. And so it's crimped. And you know, this is a great way to crimp for something that's not going to get a lot of stress. These are just going to dangle. So it's fast, it's fun, it's easy. If you're struggling with crimping, this should be pretty easy for you to accomplish. And then I'm just going to play in the beads. As I said, I'm going to do a mix here of silver. I'm going to pop in those pink seed beads, and I'm going to string a total of 10 fringy bits. So it'll be a mixture of chain and strung fringes. So I'm just going to have fun like creating some bead patterns. So maybe a crystal rondelle, and then a pink seed bead, and then a crystal rondelle, and then another silver, metallic silver fire polish. And so I'm just going to create some really pretty little bead patterns like that. I'm going to do random lengths so that I don't have to count anything. And I also think the random dangles just looks really, really pretty. So I'm going to string, and I'll be back and we'll attach. Okay, and then on this side, when you're finished with your stringing, you put your crimp bead on and make a loop and go back down through a bead or two if you can, and just give that a pull. Make the loop about the same size. If you need to put your like your round nose pliers in the loop on this side to give you some leverage, that works really well. Just put that in there and give it a pull like that. And you don't want it too tight, but you don't want, you know, gaps in your stringing. And so that is ready to go. The same thing. I'm going to come right here and put my pliers over the crimp bead and just smash it. Just flatten it, and then come in here and trim. And so I'm going to do quite a few strands like this, and also I'm going to play with what I want for a dangle on the bottom. So I think on this one I'm going to do, what am I going to do on this one? There's so much to play with here. It's so fun. Maybe a little star on this one, and put it on top of a check glass crystal. So again, I'm just going to play, take my ball head pin and put my star on, and maybe another one of these little beads. And so I'm just going to create some little dangles like that. And for those of you that are struggling making simple loops, I have a really easy way to make them. So I'm just going to give the wire a little bend above my bead stack, and then I'm going to take my round nose plier and put it in there and wrap my wire over the barrel. And then I'm going to rotate my barrel. If this looks familiar, it's exactly the way that I do my wrapped loops. Then I'm going to bring this wire around and then just get this loop centered above my stack of beads and nice and round. And when I take it away, the loop is formed. So if you wanted to, from here, you could grab this loop and wrap around and do a wrapped loop. But it's a super easy way to get a simple loop in. I'm going to reach inside and snip. So it's right where the two wires are meeting each other. And then all I have to do is open it and attach it to the bottom of my strand and close it. And you can get your simple loops this way, any size loop that you want, depending on where you wrap on the barrel of your round nose pliers. If you want a really large simple loop, you would obviously be on the fatter part of the cone. It's such an easy way to get them in. And then I'm going to prepare another chain to go on this jump ring and choose another little something for a dangle on the bottom. So I'm going to come right about here, make this one a little bit shorter, and make another little dangle on the bottom of the chain. And maybe this one will be a pinch bead with a little silver disc spacer and then another pinch bead. So I'm just playing in the beads. I'm going to make a lot of everything different. No two are alike. Just little baubles for the end, and just attach them with simple loops. Such an easy way to get your simple loops in. So if you're struggling with simple loops, I read every comment and I hear that a lot of you just have trouble and can't get them in there. So I'm just going to open it and I'm going to add it to the bottom of this chain, just like that, and close it and work hard in it just like all of our loops. But it's perfectly round, perfectly centered. Focus, camera. It does not like this little silver chain. And then I'm going to take another jump ring and another single jump ring, and I'm going to feed my chain on and then my strand and attach it to the second loop. And I'm going to do this 3 more times so that at the end I have a total of 10 strands across my pendant. So just like that, get it in there. And again, I love the randomness of the links and the baubles at the bottom, and just it's lopsided because I have this side done, but look how gorgeous this pendant is going to be. Dramatic and just wonderful. So I am going to keep going, making some more strands. I'm going to get another piece of the wire from the box. I just coiled it up to corral it and keep it so that it would behave. And I'm just going to cut another length and keep going. Have fun playing in the beads. This is such a fun project, absolutely a delightful project. So I will not make you sit here and watch me repeat this 3 more times. I will get it done and I'll be back and show you the finished product. Okay, you guys, my Parisian fringe pendant is all done. It's just gorgeous. It's so fabulous. I just absolutely love this. And it is Parisian because it has the little Eiffel Tower and it has a little princess crown and pearls and crystal rondelle spacers and, you know, check glass faceted rounds and pinch beads, and it's just absolutely fabulous. I love it. So I'm thinking of all the wearing possibilities with this. If you wanted to do a long chain or a long leather cord and have the fringe hanging down low, you could do that, but this would be really cool to kind of create the look of a necktie. If you did a shorter chain and had it up near your neck like a choker, or even coming from underneath a buttoned up collar, this Parisian fringe would just be so fabulous. So let me give you a little quick close-up look, and I'll definitely put some better pictures up at the end, but I just played in the beads. So I played with the chain and the beads and made little baubles for the end of every single dangle, some stars, some discs. My little Eiffel Tower is in there, and pearls, the silver pearls, the little crown. I wish that I had more connector holes because I would have kept going, but it is just absolutely the most fabulous pendant. I can't wait to try it on different stringing material. So I thank you so much for watching. Tap more right underneath the video title for links to the Bohem style DIY jewelry kit. And I usually link the other box that this company does as well. The company's Craftica again, and the other box is Czech Beads exclusive. expensive. And so use my links. It helps out my channel. They ship very reasonably worldwide. It is an amazing company. High quality Czech glass. What's better than getting Czech glass directly from the Czech Republic? So I thank you again. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up or a hype, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, everybody.